Final X, possibly the best produced wrestling event I've seen. Possibly. It's hard to put it there because the World Trials were so damn good this year and the US Open was so damn good this year. But this was a real treat. And I mean, this is iron on iron. And it is going down up to 3 times today until we sort this thing out. I mean, the mere concept of it is only for the baddest of the bad, at any rate. Spencer Lee goes out. And Spencer was so incredible because there was a critique given of Spencer, and it's the same critique that Spencer gave himself, which is, I'm only wrestling for parts of matches. If I don't need points, I'm not going out and getting points. And he's being hard on himself. And it's a very interesting theory. John Smith, many years ago, lost a match and was winning the match. And he shut down and he tried to run out the clock. And the guy gets him at the end and the guy wins. And John comes off the match and he says, I will never shut my offense down again. But there was a whole other group of guys. Kevin Jackson, Kenny Monday, Melvin Douglas, maybe even the leader of the pack. That was, you only score when you have to. Do not score unless you have to. And the Cubans had that theory, and the Russians have it to this day. You get a point, and you know you can control space and hang on to that point and eat up the clock. That point is all that you're going to go out and get. Okay. So there's these different theories. Now, the Brands brothers, it was going to be non-stop chaos. It was going to be legal violence to the end. And that's what Spencer comes from. But the critique, while being accurate, I don't see it as fair. I think he's very hard on himself. You got a 3-1 lead and you start shutting down. There's 2 minutes left on the clock and a guy's coming after you. It's very different. Referees warn you. You got some passivities. It's a very different thing than being ahead 6-0. Oh, and by the way, I got 4 minutes left. Oh, and by the way, I got to wrestle this same guy 90 minutes from now. Should I show him any more than I have to? I have all the points that I need. It's just an interesting point. It's an interesting thing to look at. Because Spencer has the same critique of himself that the viewers have, which is, you're the king of the world, go be the king of the world. Don't ever shut down. You can get everybody out of it. And Spencer teched his way to the Olympic finals. People forget that. Spencer Lee teched. First round, quarterfinals, semifinals. He teched his way into the Olympic finals. So, yeah, he's the king of the world. He teched his way to the gold medal back in the juniors. I mean, I'm just sharing. If he doesn't shut his offense down, can anybody go a full 6 minutes with him? Probably not. It's interesting. All right, I'm going to move you up because I thought the most undercredited guy of the tournament was Riel Woods. I thought going into the tournament, he had one of the most impressive runs. I think if you went and looked what he did, but the way that he wrestled, the way that he would win matches with 2 and 3 seconds, like he was just finding a way to win. He was just coming into his own, right? And sometimes you can sense that. You can feel that with guys. Man, I don't know how good this guy is, but I know today, or I know right now, or I know this year, he's not going to be beatable. And Riel had that. He just had this aura about him. And I don't like when anything bad happens to Joey McKenna, I got to tell you. If you want to talk about the nicest guy in the sport who has paid a price, and when you have somebody as successful as Joey that's done this as long as Joey, you always have the question of, well, why? What drives you? And I swear to goodness, if you follow Joey's career back, you could follow it to a junior world championship where he did not make weight. And that's the one. He likely would have been a world champion right then. And it likely would have changed his motivation for everything moving forward. And he's so close. And he can beat all these guys. And then you got to do it on the right day. It was one of these things that was hard to see because McKenna was wrestling so well. But so's Riel. And that's just a reality. So take a look at Carr Messenbrink. Now, I told you guys that this was going to happen. And I didn't tell you that Carr was going to shut him down in 2 matches. I just told you that David Carr knows when to win. It is those times and those times exclusively that he will win. Now, on a bad day, he's the second best guy in America. He proved that. He did not have a great day. He had, by his own standard, a bad day at the U.S. Open, and he beat everybody in America but one guy. But he didn't have to win there. It would have been nice, but he didn't have to in his mind. Just the things that he needs to trigger this urgency in his own mind. Messenbrink looked awesome. And it was great matches. And there was nothing that was so clear in the Carr Messenbrink matches that would give you some kind of confidence going into next season that you know which way this is going to go. It's going to be fun. And this is before we work Keegan into the mix. So get ready to have some fun, but that's Carr. Carr can beat everybody. Move up. Oh, wait, you got my favorite wrestler, Levi Haines. And what I found to be the most interesting about Levi versus Wick is there is a very realistic scenario that Levi comes home world champion. There's a very realistic scenario that Carr comes home world champion. And let's just say they medal somewhere, right? I think we can all agree that, yeah, both of those guys could medal, for sure. We just saw Carr 3 months ago beat a bronze medalist. So, but what's interesting about it is when you get to 2028, which is what this whole process is all about, Jordan Burroughs, who is not retired, in fact, has basically said, I'm coming back next year. One thing that would retire a guy is if Carr and Levi, who are going to be the same weight in 28, that's why I'm making this comparison, they will funnel into the same weight class. If they come back world champions, you now have these two monsters. Dake is going to be back into the mix. I mean, this is the kind of thing that would keep somebody like, or keep somebody out of the sport that's in Jordan's position. Burroughs is just different. That will entice him. He will want to get into that gauntlet. That will motivate him more. And I just think about that because these brackets aren't done. Dake's coming back. Jordan's coming back. O'Toole is coming back. I mean, it is going to be some of the deepest brackets that we've ever had on American soil come 2028. And it was one of my biggest takeaways. Let's move up to Valencia versus Dake. There are some things that you can count on. There are some absolutes in life. The sun is going to come up and the sun is going to go down. Death and taxes, as the old joke goes. Kyle Dake to not be taken down 3 times in one wrestling tournament. You can count on these things. Kyle Dake to not be taken down 4 times in a day. Ever. Any day. Ever. And what Dake has gone and done, and I was a little surprised that I didn't hear more of this. Now, Dake weighed in 5 pounds underweight. Are you aware of that? 2 kilograms. So what's that? 4.4 pounds? We're gonna call it 5 pounds. Weighs in 5 pounds underweight. And Dake did not move up a weight class. It was reported that he did. That's inaccurate reporting. He moved up 2. Dake was 74 for the Olympic Games. He skipped 79, which, by the way, is what he weighs. He went to 86. It was very interesting when he did it because his own teammate is Aaron Brooks. Now, Dake was armed with the information that Brooks is either not going to be here or going to go up. But I'm just sharing. It was an interesting tell. It really locked in the astute fan that Aaron Brooks was not going to be there. But Dake didn't just skip a weight class. He skipped 2. Zahid came down a weight class. At some point, size matters. It's why they weigh him in. So you got one guy that moves up 2. You got a guy that comes down 1. Awesome wrestling. And Zahid's one of the cool guys of the sport. Like, but Zahid's going to do what Zahid wants to do. He's great. He's just great. Zahid is just fun. He's handsome and he's cool and he's got a duck under. He doesn't care who you are. He fought David Taylor a year ago and now he's got David in his corner. He's fighting Kyle Dake a month ago and now 2 times again on Saturday. He's just great. He's great. So he's going to go on for us. He's going to be likely the world champion, but what does it mean for Dake next year? Dake should not have been in this weight class, but he knows that. So does that mean that he's going to grow into the weight class? He's beaten world and Olympic champions of the weight class. Is this the weight class that he wants to be for the Olympics as opposed to going back to 74? Is that what this is about? Could be. We don't quite have enough, and the media didn't quite dig into it because they were reporting he moved up a weight, which is not accurate. He moved up 2 to take on a guy that came down 1. He was 3 weights off. All right. You go to Hidley. And, Josh Barr is one of the wrestlers of the year. If you go look at what Josh Barr did from the season to the Big Tens to the NCAA meet to getting to Final X, I think Josh Barr's 19. If I'm wrong, he's 20. I mean, it was a very interesting situation, but if you look at what happened to get him there, very tough, and he's in there with Hidley, and nobody, this is an actual stat, you can go and verify this is an actual stat, there is nobody in the sport of wrestling in the last 2 years that has had as many weigh-ins or as many matches as Trent Hidley. Trent was pulling double duty in the NCAA season in a different style, a different sport, at a different weight class. He still get it, he didn't give a damn. He did it and he was pursuing, and it felt good to see him reach his goal. Move up to 97, Captain America came back. Turns out Captain America wrestles pretty well when he's pissed off. That's what it turns out. If you understood how good Hayden Zillner is, and you really have to understood how complete this guy is. He's a problem in Greco. He's a problem in freestyle. He's a problem in heavyweight. He's a problem at 97. He is a stud. And Snyder didn't score as many points if you just want to go to last year's best of 3. I mean, he had a match that was 2-0, just for example. And really, really looks sharp. You move up to heavyweight, and you start to see that the most effective training a person can do is a collegiate wrestling season. The most effective training that you can do is attach yourself to a college team, do all of it, spend 15 minutes after practice working on parterre, and show up and go wrestle. And there's some guys that don't understand that. They think they're in a different sport. They call it Greco-Roman or they call it freestyle. They think it's a different sport. It's not a different sport. Go wrestle collegiate. Let the referee call it freestyle. Just go do whatever you would do in collegiate. That is a 98% literal statement. You got a 2% adjustment to make, but you're going to have a minute better conditioning than all of these guys. Now, let's bring it back to the outstanding wrestler of the tournament. And had you told me the story of PJ Duke, had you told me a story about a kid that made the U20 world team, the U23 world team, and the senior world team in the same year, oh, by the way, while he was still walking the hallways of high school, if you would have told me that, you either would have been wrong or you would have been lying. The only time there are stories of a high school kid making a senior world team, there's no cameras, there's no footage, there's no living witnesses. It's called folklore. And we have to go on and wonder, did it actually happen? There is no proof and there is no evidence anywhere. And had you told me the story of PJ Duke and that a high school kid was going to get the jump on Yanni, that a high school kid is in 90 minutes going to correct a 10-point deficit. He lost by 10 points and had 90 minutes to try to correct that. I would not believe you, and I shouldn't believe you. And nowhere in history could you show me an example where it happened. Had I not seen what PJ Duke did, I would not believe it. And it wasn't a matter that Yanni wrestled bad at all. Not only did Yanni not wrestle bad, he won a match by tech fall. Not only did Yanni not wrestle bad, he scored over 20 points on this guy. I mean, Yanni's wrestling really well. And PJ Duke is your outstanding wrestler. And that is simply what happened at Final X.